Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development Program, and in particular the AWD 1111 .NET Framework with Web Databases class, I have been creating a series of video presentations based on the textbook for the class that will be used in the fall 2019 semester. As you can see on your screen, the book is Pro ASP.NET MVC 5 in A-Press text by Adam Freeman. Now, we're on Chapter 6, and I've been having a problem with first I had a problem with a dependency injection. Now I'm having a unit test problem. But one thing I noticed was way back on page 130, we were supposed to go in and add this. We were supposed to create a discount.cs file, which I don't believe I've ever created. Didn't look, so let's see. Models. There is no discount. Right mouse click. Add. Class. A discount. There it is. Now, did that remove any of my errors? Well, if you take a look here, they've gone down somewhat. All right. So there's public interface iDiscount helper that has been added. So let's do a file save all. Again, you still see that I have problems, even though, well, there's public class iDiscount helper. There it is. There's the interface iDiscount helper. So it is now in my models. Under discount, all right, there is iDiscount helper. I don't know how I missed that, but I did. The last thing I'll say about this before I go on is they do mention in the book, this is all the way up now to page 145, that the author suggests that you go here to Microsoft.com and there is more explanation on unit testing. Okay? Now, is unit testing important? Well, of course it is. We could probably give a whole class on unit testing. How much of it are we going to do? That's a really good question that as of right now, I don't have an answer for. All right? So the last section in here is on the use of using mock. The author says, one of the reasons I'm able to keep my tests so simple is I'm using a single test class. All right, hold on just 1 minute. All right, sorry about that. Continuing on, I'm now on the bottom of page 145 using mock. The author says one of the reasons that he was able to keep the test so simple in the previous section, it was because we were testing a single class that depends on no other classes to function. All right. Typically, you'll need to test objects that cannot function in isolation. In other words, the whole idea behind object-oriented programming is that you have different objects sending messages to one another. So, as it says, in these situations, you need to be able to focus on the class or method you're interested in. Okay, one approach to doing that is to use what are called mock objects. Mock objects, as you can see down here in the second paragraph, simulate the functionality of real objects from a project, but in a more specific and controlled way. They allow you to narrow the focus of your tests, so ideally, you're only testing what you're interested in testing. The paid-for version of Visual Studio has support for mock objects through a thing called fakes, but since we don't have that, we're going to use a library called mock, which is, according to the author at least, simple, easy to use, and can use all Visual Studio editions, including the free ones, which is good because that's what we're using. All right, before getting into mock, the author says he wants to demonstrate the problem we're trying to fix. In this section, I'm going to unit test the link value calculator class, which was defined in the models folder earlier. This is what it looked like. All right. To test this class, and I'm on page 146, the author says that he added a new unit test class to the project by right-clicking on the test project in the Solution Explorer and choosing Add Unit Test from the pop-up menu. So that's from here, right mouse click, Add Unit Test. Okay. If the Add menu does not have a unit test item, select New Item instead. We've already got that. That's okay. So in the second one here, we're going to add what's shown on 146 and 147. This will be inside of our unit test2.cs file, which is, as you can see, is right where we are. Now, a couple things. We're not done. So even though we're getting errors, don't let that bother you a bit, because this is only part of it. The rest of it's on the next page. Moving up to page 147, we want to add this code right here. All right. Still looks like it's giving me errors. Doesn't like minimum discount helper. Doesn't like link value calculator. Now the minimum discount helper is right here. I think I spelled it correctly. Minimum discount helper. And the link value calculator is right here as well. Alright, so now all I've got more than anything else are more errors. And the author says here, the problem that I face is that the link value calculator class depends on an implementation of the iDiscount helper interface to operate. The author says, I have made my unit test complex and brittle. In order to create a test that works, I need to take into account the discount logic in the iDiscount helper implementation to figure out the expected value of the value products method. All right, second and most troubling, I have extended the scope of my unit test so that it implicitly includes the minimum discount helper class. The best unit tests, and this should make sense, are simple and focused, and my current setup does not allow for these. In the sections that follow, I will show you how to add and apply mock to help us avoid the problems. So, adding mock, let's, as we've done in the past, let's go over to here. Let's right mouse click on the name of the project here and choose Manage NuGet Packages. And under the Browse, I'm going to just type in mock. M-O-Q. There it is. Looks like 57.1 million downloads. That looks pretty good. So I don't see why I could not close this. Come down into here, choose my tools, package manager console, and do an install minus package MOQ for mock minus project name essential tools dot tests. The project name there, it says, allows the author to tell NuGet we want the mock package installed in the unit test project rather than in the main application. That should be minus package, not minus pages. Install minus package mock. I didn't put a version in, but I put minus project name essential tools dot tests. Let's see if this works. Remember, we don't get red. That's a good thing. Right now I saw no red in there. Looks to me like everything worked. There's where we put it in. All right. So now inside of here, inside of our second project, we should have, there's mock, our reference to mock. So adding a mock object to a unit test means telling mock what kind of object you want to work with, configuring its behavior, and then applying the object to the test target. So we have to go to our Unit 2 test file, which is here. Let's go up to the top. And after all the other using, let's have a using mock. You can see that it was, hopefully you could have seen that. Let me try it again. Using M, and there's mock right there. All right, so that's the first part. All right, in here, I'm just going to remove everything that's shown right there after the word arrange and replace it with what we have in the book, which is all of this information right there. And as you can see, we still have a bunch of errors. That isn't good. The syntax for using mock is a little odd when you first start to use it, so the author is going to walk through this. All right. The author also says here near the bottom of page 148, bear in mind that there are a number of different mocking libraries. All right. Mock is actually an easy library to use. Well, again, that's the author saying that. You may or may not agree. The first step to tell mock what kind of mock object you want to work with. Mock relies heavily on type parameters. And it says here, I want to create a mock iDiscount helper implementation. All right, and I believe that's the first thing we did in here, right there. I still don't get this. I'm getting in the error, and it's saying here, for fixing, generate interface iDiscount helper, which I should have already. Which I don't have. That must be, or might be, why I'm getting all the errors that I'm getting. I'm going to pause real quickly and see if I can find where that is. So, be right back. Actually, we're at 14 minutes. Let's do that as the beginning of the next segment that we're going to do in here.